Hey folks, and welcome to a brand new series that we're starting here on Southridge called Carving a Pumpkin. It's going to take a look behind the scenes of the Pumpkin Man short film series, as well as an upcoming project coming up right after this. For those of you who have followed this channel for a while, you may know who I am, but for those of you unfamiliar, I am Ryan Sheets. I am the writer and director of the Pumpkin Man film series. All but one, Jeff Rhodes did Pumpkin Man 2. Now, real quick before we get into the actual episode, I wanted to take a second to announce that The Pumpkin Man is becoming a feature film. Now, you may remember a while back we talked about doing a Pumpkin Man feature film. It never really went anywhere, but we are reviving that project. We have completely rewritten the script, and this time it is actually happening. And we want to take you guys along with us with this series because we think that this is going to be a very unconventional way of making a feature film, and we want to show you guys how we're going to do it. So I hope that you guys get excited for that, but with that out of the way, let's get into the episode. Now, the first thing that I wanted to do was reinvent the character of the Pumpkin Man. Originally, he was just a guy in a mask, and Jeff jokes by the third film he was God, which is pretty accurate, but I knew that I wanted this one to be a demon. I wanted to go more in line of a creature feature than a slasher, so that's why I made him a demon. We dove a little bit more into the history of Samhain and the lore surrounding that celebration, some of the creatures from the backstory of Samhain, so I altered it a little bit when it came to the Sluagh creatures, which is what we decided the Pumpkin Man is, and it made it fit our story a little bit better. But the one thing I knew I needed to sell this as a creature feature rather than just a guy in a mask, kind of like a slasher, is a new mask. And if you've kept up with this channel, if you've seen all of the Pumpkin Man films, this probably looks very familiar to you. This is the original Pumpkin Man mask. It was used in 1 through 4. We got a new mask, the exact same mask, but just a new version for Pumpkin Man Returns. But this is a cheap latex mask from a Halloween store. It looks good on camera if you're going for something more like Michael Myers, but I knew I needed something a little bit more bulky and lived in. So I went looking for something that was going to work better for our project. There's a lot of different ways I could have gone here. I could have looked for a better latex mask, but sometimes latex doesn't look great and it also deteriorates over time. I could have gone with prosthetics, but I couldn't really find anything that I liked, so then I stumbled upon silicone masks. So this is the silicone mask that we ended up using for the Pumpkin Man Demon of Fall. And what's great about these things is that they're full masks. They come down to the chest and they look amazing on film. The mouth moves when you move your mouth, the brows move when you move your brows. So they look amazing, and it's a really easy way to do awesome makeup like this in seconds. So if you are looking for something to do like a creature feature, I would definitely recommend going in this direction. Just keep in mind, they are very, very expensive. These things cost about $600 a pop. So just bear that in mind when you're looking at this. If you have the budget for it though, definitely do it. It's worth it. So we didn't have access to some of our usual locations like the Oregon Trail or anywhere in Indiana because I'm in Florida now. So I wanted to find a very interesting location, and my fiance Janae actually came up with a great location up in Jacksonville. Welcome to the beginning of production. You have nothing to say.
My face says it all.
Have you ever been told that you aren't any fun? What have we begun, Janae?
Location scouting.
And how's our luck going?
I gave a good place. Let it be known.
Ooh, spooky. Oh, spooky. Ooh, spooky.
Oh, I didn't know that's what the last picture was. That's what the actual house looks like.
Spooky. That's spooky.
Don't know what's spookier. The quietness or the people hiding in the trees smoking weed.
They hide in the trees?
I don't know. You sometimes smell weed. Your
first instinct may be to film in your apartment because it's just a location that you have access to. 24/7. You don't have to worry about other people being there. But what you need to remember is pretty much every short film on YouTube is filmed in somebody's house or apartment, and they start to get really repetitive and blend together. If you want your short film to stand out, do something different. Find a unique location that you haven't seen on camera before and use that, because ultimately that will go a lot farther than anything that is just shot in an apartment, because they're just overdone.
What's up? You must stretch.
With a location like this, you definitely want to scout it out beforehand. If you just show up day of without actually going there, you may run into a lot of problems that you can't fix on the day, such as security cameras getting into the back of your shots. That's probably one of the big ones that we would have had to dodge if we hadn't gone and seen this location beforehand. So go out with your actual camera. If you can't bring your actual camera because you're renting it or you don't want to lug it out there, bring a smaller camera for reference pictures and reference video, and that will go a long way.
We're out here with our superstar actress.
It's ruined right there. It's ruined right there. You've got the
sign.
The sign.
And the bars on the door don't help either, but... Leota, what do you think, girl? What do you think? There's lots of squirrels, isn't there? Are there lots of squirrels? Alright, so we just drove up to my hometown to meet up with my sister right there, Sylvia. She is playing Jenny Scott. And we were location scouting with this perfect house. I am totally not level here. But Ryan doesn't think it's gonna work. So, back to the drawing board we go.
This side would still work as the front of the house.
We're all sweaty.
Very.
Leota's panting. Ryan, what do you think?
It'll work. If we get here early enough, there is quite a bit of people that come through here, so we gotta watch out for that. But I think it'll definitely work. It's definitely got the creepy rustic vibe that I'm looking for. We came up with some good ideas on the location, which is always great. So we took a bunch of reference photos, and we'll go back home and take a look at those and try to build our new scenes around that, because obviously I wrote this script for a location that we did not have, and you know, when you're making a film like this, you have to make adjustments, because your location is never going to be perfect and it's never going to perfectly match what you want. So we are going to take those photos, look at the set again, and build a scene around that rather than what's actually written in the script.
Keep in mind, with a public place like this, when you actually go out to film, you can't stop other people from showing up. So my advice to you is to show up super, super early. I believe we got there around 6 or 7 a.m. before anyone got there, so we could film everything before anyone showed up. With all of that shot, we came back to our apartment and filmed the rest here, and you might be thinking I'm a hypocrite, but hear me out. I think it's better to start out with a unique and interesting location to reel your audience in before you bring them back to somewhere where you have access to. That's why I started this film at Alpine Groves, because you have that beautiful rustic house, and that's the first shot, and it definitely brings the audience in more than just anywhere in an apartment. I think that will go a very long way in increasing the production value of your overall film. And don't like, if that, like, when you...
Do I wait for them to knock again?
No. Well...
Like, just got...
Yeah, let's do 2 knocks. So and when you're hearing that first knock, so you're gonna be like, you're gonna hear that, and like you're so into the book that just like zaps you out of it, and you're just like, and then you're gonna look up at the thing and be like, and it'll be a slow roll. No, you can just kind of like topple it together, and you don't have to like bind it completely. So yeah, okay, so you're gonna stand up, you're slowly gonna walk this way, camera's following you, camera's on you, camera's on you, camera's gonna pan around, and you're gonna get to about right here, and then we're gonna hear just, all right, and yeah, you're just gonna turn around and kind of like this isn't real, and like put your hands over your eyes or whatever you wanna do, but like close your eyes.
Would you want me to like, I don't know.
You're so
I guess you wanna go on the
disobedient.
ground.
Leo, sit.
Just take a few steps forward.
Sit.
Right there.
Sit. Who's a good girl? Who's a good girl? Stay right there.
I mean, like, you're basically just trying to tell yourself that you're not crazy right now, so you're just like, this isn't real. And if you want to say that, you can. So we shot the rest here, and as you can probably tell from this behind the scenes footage, we shot this with an Ursa Mini. Now don't freak out if you can't afford a camera like this. You can shoot a film on anything. You really can. Your iPhone, a DSLR, anything. I mean, if you look back at the first 4 Pumpkin Man films, those were all shot on a Canon 70D. Not the highest end camera to be filming short films with, but it got the job done. I pushed that camera to its absolute max, and it paid off in the end. Of course, we did end up upgrading our equipment later on, but to start out, if you are just starting out, you can still get by with whatever you have. And seriously, iPhone cameras are fantastic right now. If that's all you have to shoot your film, invest in lights, invest in audio. Don't go getting a camera if you can only shoot on an iPhone right now, because you have a great camera to begin with. Now for lighting, we shot on a 3-point light kit that we got off of Amazon. Pretty affordable. You can find hundreds of them on there. So just search on Amazon for something in your budget and you should be able to find something that'll work. But one thing that I would highly recommend are these Aputure MC lights. I know Sokani makes a slightly cheaper version of this. If this isn't in your price range, this is about $100, but these things are incredibly versatile. They're RGB, they have effects, they can all be controlled wirelessly through your phone. They have these little magnets on the back. They're like a little Swiss Army knife. So if you're an independent filmmaker, I would definitely recommend picking a few of these up, because for $90, they really can't be beat. So with everything filmed, we brought this into Premiere, and that's probably the thing that took the longest. With actual filming time, it was only a few hours in the morning and a few hours in the evening, and then we were done. But I really wanted to push myself and not get lazy on this film. I took my time for color correction. I used a new thing called Film Convert that I had never used before. I'm sure you've heard of it if you've been in the industry for very long. But also, I really focused in on sound mixing. It's something that I always skip over because I can be lazy sometimes, but I wanted to make sure that I gave it my all and did my best, and that's why I got the Acusonos plugins that you may have seen on an episode of Film Riot. They made sound mixing a breeze. It was 10 times easier to get the sound that I wanted from this film with those plugins. And one of the biggest things we did differently on this film was actually had a composer compose an original soundtrack. My best friend of 25 years, Connor Advardi, did a fantastic job on this score. It was all original music except for the end credit scene where he took the original Pumpkin Man theme from the end of the first movie and updated it to this awesome Avengers-like theme, which was really cool. So if you can afford to put that into your budget, definitely look into it. That also really helps your film stand out. There's a lot of royalty-free soundtracks that people have just heard to death, so look into a composer if you can, because that will bring your film one step up. Now, even if you're just starting out, still consider submitting to film festivals. There's a lot that will accept you, and there are some that you can get into for free. So look into that, because they're a great way to network. Don't go into film festivals looking for awards, because really in the end, networking and getting your film seen is the actual benefit of film festivals. I've met some great people after screening Pumpkin Man at a few film festivals, and if you happen to win an award along the way, it's a nice little bonus. So I hope you've enjoyed this first episode of Carving a Pumpkin, and I hope you're as excited as I am for the Pumpkin Man feature film. As we progress through this production process, we're going to take you every step of the way, and we're going to keep on making Carving a Pumpkin episodes along the way so you guys can see how we're making this film. And before we wrap up, I just want to give a huge thank you to everyone who has watched the Pumpkin Man Demon of Fall. As of the recording of this, we passed 10,000 views, which is a huge milestone for a small channel like this. So thank you so much to everybody who has watched it. It means a lot to me. I've poured my heart and soul into this film because I really wanted to bring the Pumpkin Man back in a new way. So it really means the world to me that you guys are enjoying it as much as I am. So thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next one.
You're about to see Ryan have a weird order for the month of June.
Good morning, welcome to Starbucks. What can we get started for you today?
Hi, would it be at all possible to get a pumpkin spice latte?
Not at all.
Dang it!
That's only in the fall.
I tried.